The only time planning doesn't work is when we treat our goals as proof of our worth instead of tools for growth. So here's how I want you to handle those moments when things don't go according to plan. First, I want you to pause and take a step back and breathe. You can try that box breathing we did earlier, where you breathe in for 4, hold it for 5, and breathe out for 6. It's a great way to just bring yourself back to center. And then remind yourself that nothing has gone wrong. We just have a lesson to learn here. So you want to ask, what is that lesson? What is this situation showing me? What is missing right now? Hello, and welcome to the Art of Value Whispering podcast. I'm your host, Melitta Campbell, business coach and value whisperer. And on this show, we explore value whispering, the smarter way to market your small business in a way that feels aligned and sustainable rather than loud or pushy. So it just happens to work brilliantly for introverts. Today, we have reached the final in the Planisode series. Over the last few episodes, you've set goals, created your plans, clarified your priorities, and thought intentionally about how you want to grow your business this year. And you've looked ahead to how you may handle any roadblock that comes along the way and any of the fear or doubt that may stand in your way and hold you back. But there's one additional part that often gets left out of planning conversations, and that's that progress never runs smoothly. And a good plan isn't something that you just set once and blindly follow. It's something you need to return to, review, and expand as you continue to grow throughout the year. Because if we only plan from where we are today, we can unintentionally keep ourselves thinking small, even when we have the best intentions. And a couple of episodes ago, I told you how 2 years ago, my word of the year was focus. And part of that meant going all in and focusing on my value whispering concept. I rebranded my podcast, my community, my signature program, and it felt at the time like a huge step. And if I'm honest, at the time, I was full of fear and doubt. I didn't know if this was going to work out. I didn't know if this was going to be like completely the wrong thing to do. Go all in on a concept that nobody has heard of. But as I followed that plan, I started to see how actually it had become the logical next step. And my clients, my network, my community, they quickly embraced it. And a few months in, I was able to review my plans from a very different place and start to think bigger. And that's the moment when I had the opportunity come to me to give a TEDx talk on the topic. So it all started to click into place. So today I want to talk about what happens when things don't go according to plan, because I can tell you right now, if you're doing things right, they won't go according to plan. And now I know that sounds a strange thing to say, but if you're being bold and stepping into your true value, you will be stretching yourself, even if it's just in small ways, and you'll be trying new things. Well, inevitably, that means you're going to make mistakes. You're going to fumble as you figure things out. So today we'll look at how you can handle those moments in a way that keeps you moving forward with confidence, ease, and integrity. Because here's the question I often hear, and often between the lines of what's really being said out loud, but it's a question that can keep you thinking and playing small. And it's, what if I don't achieve my goals? And that fear can hold you back from even trying in the first place, to staying safe. And that's not where you want to be if you want to create a meaningful impact and continue to grow. So while it's a natural question, particularly like through school or a corporate career, not achieving your goals had real consequences. But as a business owner, not achieving your goals is a sign that you're expanding, you're growing, you're trying new things, and there's more lessons to be learned. As we talked about already in the Planisodes, missing goals provides you with important information about what it takes for you to succeed. So my honest answer is to that question, what if I don't achieve my goals, is you probably won't achieve all of your goals, at least not exactly as you imagined, not in a straight line, or to that deadline that you initially set. And that's not a failure, it's information. Your plans are created with the knowledge, the confidence, the capacity, and perspective that you have today. But you're not going to be the same person 6 months from now. So by that point, you will have learned more, your confidence will have grown, your comfort zone will stretch, and new opportunities will start to appear. And sometimes things that felt big and important at the start of the year simply won't feel quite so important or matter so much later on. And that's why the most successful business owners don't just set goals, they revisit them. They regularly check in with themselves and ask, is this still aligned with what I want? Is this still meaningful? Is this still bold enough for who I am becoming or who I am today? And just as importantly, what am I learning as I go? What have I learned so far that I can build into my plans to think bigger and achieve more? So when something doesn't work out as planned, it's tempting to label that as a mistake or a failure. But instead, I want you to practice the word that we talked about yesterday in the success habits. It's to say, fascinating. Isn't it fascinating that this didn't land the way I expected? Isn't this fascinating that this feels so much harder than I thought, or is taking so much longer than I expected? Isn't it fascinating that I just didn't follow through with this goal? I didn't get things done at all within the time frame I expected. And that question is important because it opens the door to insight instead of self-judgment. So that means it's going to move you forward, help you learn instead of holding you back and keeping you small. Because in asking these questions, we may discover that the timeline was unrealistic. Perhaps there was some unexpected learning involved that we just hadn't anticipated. Maybe the skills, support, structure you needed wasn't there yet. Or maybe the goal itself just wasn't actually right for you in the end. Or maybe something better came along and quietly changed your direction. All of that is useful information. The only time planning doesn't work is when we treat our goals as proof of our worth instead of tools for growth. So here's how I want you to handle those moments when things don't go according to plan. First, I want you to pause and take a step back and breathe. You can try that box breathing we did earlier, where you breathe in for 4, hold it for 5, and breathe out for 6. It's a great way to just bring yourself back to center. And then remind yourself that nothing has gone wrong. We just have a lesson to learn here. So you want to ask, what is that lesson? What is this situation showing me? What is missing right now? What support would make this easier? And is this still important? Do I need to adjust the plan or expand it or let it go altogether? Because very often what it looks like to not achieve a goal is actually a sign that you've outgrown your original plan that you made a few months earlier. And this brings me to something important. If you've listened to this series and found yourself thinking, I love having a plan, but I don't want to do this alone again, or that you don't want to miss a piece of the puzzle that will make your marketing and sales finally work together, then I want you to know this, that most of the women who join my signature Value Whispering Blueprint program join for very practical reasons. They want marketing that attracts the right clients. They want to be confident that they know who those right clients are. They want a sales process that they can manage with ease and confidence and feels like they are adding value, not being pushy or hustling. And they want steady, sustainable business growth. They want their business to start working properly, to feel like a real business, to make an impact that they feel proud of. And as we build that together, something else happens. They stop second guessing themselves. They trust their decisions more. And they realize that they are already capable of so much more than they thought. That the goals, ideas, the strategies that they were afraid to try at the beginning of the program, they're already doing it. And they hadn't realized they were pushing themselves because they've naturally grown into the person that can achieve and grow their business exactly as they've intended. This is not about fixing them but about giving their business the structure it needs, along with the support and direction and feedback consistently to ensure that they can build that business with who they already are and continue to grow. So inside the Value Whispering Blueprint, you're supported through a clear, structured program you follow online at your own pace, twice weekly live coaching calls with me personally, so I can give you feedback, I can answer your questions, and I can help you move faster and more smoothly through your business growth. You get on-demand training and expert sessions, and you have access to a genuinely supportive, I think the most supportive community of like-minded business owners who are growing alongside you. You don't have to figure everything out on your own this year. You don't have to keep wondering if you're doing the right things in the right order at the right time. So if you're looking ahead and thinking that I want to grow my business this year, but I want to do it properly and in a way that feels right and works for me, then I'd love to have a conversation with you. You can book a call with me by going to valuewhispering.com. You'll find a little bit more information about the program there and a link to book a call. There is no obligation to buy when you book a call. This is genuinely me and you getting to know each other, understanding more about where you are today, where you want to get to, and understand more about myself, the way I work, and if this program could be the support you need to get you there faster and smoother. So if you're finding your marketing, your messaging, your sales, the way you show up, the way you grow your business, the way you decide what your offer is, all of this, if you're finding that difficult right now, then let's have a conversation. As say, hop along to valuewhispering.com to book that in. There are a limited number of places available, and if this resonates with you, I would love to explore whether taking one of those is the right next step for you. And don't forget, if you haven't already, with the Planisodes, to download the Planisodes tool at melittacampbell.com/Planisodes to accompany this series of Planisodes. There's a tab there for each of the lessons we've gone through. And as we talked about today, it's not just about setting that plan, but about reflecting and reviewing and upgrading that plan as you move through the year, as you grow, as more becomes possible, and as you make those mistakes that tell you what's really meaningful and impactful for you and what it takes for you personally to succeed this year. Of course, you'll also find all of those links in the show notes on my website. Just click on the podcast tab so you can get all that support you need to not just create a plan that you have to rigidly stick to, but create a plan that keeps you aligned to what matters, keeps you adjusting as you learn, and lets your business grow with you. So that's it for our Planisode series. I'll be back next week where we'll be going back to our regular rhythm of one episode every Wednesday. And with my book launch coming up now, I've been hinting that my book launch is coming up very soon. And I can now reveal that it will happen on the 26th of January. You'll be able to get Value Whispering, the smarter way to market your small business that just happens to be brilliant for introverts, the book, from Amazon from that date. And if you happen to be coming to the Higher Voltage event in London next week, it's a whole day event with some incredible speakers. It's all dedicated to successful marketing for solopreneurs. If you're going to that event, then come and find me. I'll have a table there and I'm going to have physical copies of that book available for you. This is a world exclusive because you'll get this at least 3 weeks sooner than you'll be able to buy the paperback on Amazon, and it'll be there for you completely free, and I'll be able to sign it for you. And if you are not going to that event, but it sounds interesting, then come and join us. As I'm one of the sponsors of that event, if you Google Higher Voltage Event London, use the code WHISPER. Use the code WHISPER and you'll get 25% off the price of that ticket. So I look forward to seeing some of you there. And I look forward to a special series of episodes digging into my original blueprinter. My very, very first client has come back and she's interviewing me about the 3 different parts of the book, what that has meant to her, why I came up with these concepts, and she challenges me in some very interesting ways. She came up with some incredible questions, so I'm looking forward to sharing that conversation with you very soon. right here on the podcast as well. Meantime, I'm Melitta Campbell, your business coach and value whisperer, and I look forward to seeing you again next Wednesday. Bye.